solar day every 4 years. Remember today now, we have what is known as a leap year. Here, listen, man. We have what is known as a leap year. And that leap year keeps everything in order. In Kemet, we never leap the year. We never do nothing. We just go with the flow. And every 4 years, an extra day would be added. Because remember, it's 365. It really is. When you understand how the heavens work, it is kind of mystic to explain, but it is really 365 and a quarter days. It's no lie. But if you don't do nothing about it, every 4 years, you're going to have an extra day. It's like we here in the Western world do nothing about it. The whole thing will crash and mash up. We change the time and so daylight saving times. You could see we really mix up. Change the clock backwards, just take an hour out. Wow, what kind of life is that? You just take an hour out? Wow, you're not easy. You take an hour out of my life. Oh, we're going to give you back in October. Anyway, but here it is. No, listen. So what happens now? If you notice, so there's a drift of one solar day every 4 years. You understand? So if you take 4 and you multiply that by 365, that gives you 1,460 years. Follow this now. Let me explain it again. There is a drift because the Egyptian year has 365 days, not 365 and a quarter. All right. And because of such, at the end of 4 years, we would have drifted a whole day. Right. So I'm saying now, 4 times 365, which are the days times the year, or the years times the days, 365 times 4, will give you 1,460. So what does that mean? All right. What happens here is that the new year in the 27th century BC, the new year began on the summer solstice. We have done so many programs on the summer solstice and winter solstice, so I know most of you have an idea of what I'm talking about. So the new year began on the summer solstice. Please follow me good. So what happens now is that 700 years after, in the 20th century, that is the same time that the buildings of the Karnak monuments began. On the new year would fall on the winter solstice. I'm going to say this one more time. In 2700 years, or the 27th century BCE, I'm talking about the time specifically here, 27th BCE, 27th century BCE. The sun itself, the solar year. Remember, there's a difference. I really want you to catch this, Max, because it's very, very, very important. The new year would begin on the summer solstice. The summer solstice is in June. All right. 700 years approximately, specifically 730 years after that, the new year would begin on the winter solstice, which is in December. How that happened? See, our days don't do that, but that was a regular thing in Kemet. Every 4 years, everything would have changed a day. This deep, eh? So that means in 100, or I should say in 1,460 years, the new year would arise again in June on the summer solstice. I'm going to explain one more time why this happens. This happens because in Kemet, there are 3 seasons. Each season has 120 days each. And there's a 5 extra day added to make 365 days. But we do not take into account the quarter days. So every 4 years, our calendar drifts, as they say, 1 day. So the new year is the next day every 4 years. It's a mystic science. So in 730 years, the new year, which was at the summer solstice, has moved 6 months down the line to the winter solstice, which means in another 730 days or years, the new year will return back to the summer solstice, which is in June. So it's a cycle that continues. Now again, this is the Abu Simbel. This is where you see the alignment that takes place every 21st, 22nd of February, and the same time, 20th and 22nd of October. This is in Abu Simbel Temple. Now again, this highlight is very mystic because this is happening at a mystic time. Remember, we just said Paret. See it here, Paret. Paret begins in this time on the 22nd day of October. Just follow me, family, please. Paret begins on the 22nd day of October. Shemu begins on the 20th day of February. This is during the time of the building of Abu Simbel, of the time of Rameses II. Now remember, the Paret and the Shemu changes. It goes down the line, but every 22nd of February and every 22nd of October, this happens every 22nd. But during the time of Ramesses, it was the time of the Shamu and the time of the Paret. This means that Ramesses, according to the dates, he came to the throne exactly 1,460 years after the calendar began. Remember that because the calendar does not take into account the quarter days, it will have a cycle where every 4 years, like how we leap a day, every 4 years, it gets an extra day shift. And it will take it 100, I keep saying 100, 1,460 years, 1,460 years to come a perfect cycle around. From the time they started that calendar to the time Rameses II came to the throne is 100, I keep saying 100, is 1,460 years. So in other words, Rameses II became king and started his rule exactly 1 full cycle of the Kemetic calendar. So when he became king of Egypt, the new year was the summer solstice. When the calendar began, the new year was the summer solstice. So the new year was never the summer solstice for a whole 1,460 years. And the new year returned to the summer solstice again when Rameses II was king. Now I know it may have been a little lengthy to make a point, but this isn't show and tell, you know. This is a class you're in here. This is a university style presentation. We're not doing this to entertain you and to try to, oh, let's hurry up and you have something to do. Press pause, man. This is an encyclopedia type of expression we're giving here. This is serious mathematics too, obviously. This is archaeoastronomy that we're laying on the table. This is some serious maths and some serious alignments, things we need to understand, things we need to know, so you wouldn't be watching the Discovery Channel and this channel and that channel and people telling you all sort of lies about your great African ancestors and making you believe what they say and say that they were heretic and say that they were this and say that they were that when nothing goes up. Yeah, so yeah, as I said, it might sound as if, well, you know, it's a long way to make the point, but the point got to be clear. So again, we're talking about the great Ramesses here. But that obviously means that all of whoever came to the throne, all of the activities that happened in that 1,460-year period, you know, it did not align until the time of Rameses. So it is prophetic. And the type of leader that he was, do you know when he passed on, you know, he left Kemet in peace, you know, in stability and in wealth. And that's why he's highlighted so much. So what we have here now, again, man, you're gonna go deeper, man. Just hold on with your brother here. Again, this hierophany that's taking place. You have 4 individuals here. You have, so even this, this is happening during the time of the parrot season and the Shemu season. Remember, you know, the Shemu and the parrot and the other season will move every day. Every 4 years, it moves an extra day. And so it will go all the way down the line. So obviously during the time of Rameses, he ruled for a long time. So you could imagine during his reign, everything, the clock was coming into alignment. So I could imagine when everything hit the perfect alignment for that 4-year period, it was a period of celebration. Yes, you could consider Rameses the king of the solar return. Rameses II is the king of the solar return. That's why I'm saying, you know, you have to understand the maths. It's high maths, I'm telling you. So what is happening here now? The hierophany taking place.
All right, give me 1 minute there, family. Give thanks. You know, I know I was just going to explain what is happening there, but let me tell you what is happening here. You're just getting an excerpt, really, just a clip from the 3rd part of that massive 3-part series that we did. Some of you would have observed that 3-part series. I'm talking about the living gods of Kemet. I'm not ashamed to say, you know, one of my more favorite online lecture production. And in fact, as I said, it was 3 parts. Remember, we touched upon Akhenaten and Tutankhamun. Semenkhare was part 2, and that was just a snippet of part 3. You know, talking about Rameses, you know, the great Rameses, or Rameses as some call him, the second. Some of you I know definitely getting comfortable, but I wanted to share that whole aspect as it relates to the Kemetic New Year. Because ones have been asking, when does the Kemetic New Year begin? So I decided to just take a snippet out of that documentary that we did and present it so you get a, you know, better idea. But of course, if you are in search of such knowledge and such information, as I said, that was the 3rd part. Listen to me good. That was the 3rd part of a 3-part online lecture series that we did about 7 or 8 months ago, I believe. I'm talking about the living gods of Kemet. So it's a 3-part series. You have part 1, part 2, and part 3, and the 3 of them actually come together. So that was the 3rd part. In fact, you could just visit our website, which is priestisaacinstitute.com. priestIsaacInstitute.com, but as always, the link is in the description below. And of course, it carries you straight to the area known as shop. When you press the button for shop, you see all our different products, services, etc., our books, our DVD documentaries, our documentaries in general, and of course our online lectures, which are a bit different than our documentaries. The online lectures are different than, the Night of the Black Tiger, the Master of Ceremonies. And of course, if you haven't received a copy of the Night of the Black Tiger, I must say, I don't know what you're doing. But for sure, you should check out Rameses and you get the fullness of that lecture that you are looking at there. And let me just remind you for sure that we are highlighting our international homeschool, the biology edition. And definitely those of you who may be hearing this for the first time, because I know many ones are a part of the international homeschool as it relates to astronomy and African history and heritage. But of course, we have recently launched the biology aspect of the international homeschool program, so it is available for you. Just contact us, get your young ones enrolled right away. Trust me, they will be getting the courses from the beginning, so you have nothing at all to worry about. Just email us again, priestIsaacInstitute@gmail.com, and of course, again, all the information is in the description. The PayPal information is in the description. The CashApp information is in the description as well. And of course, when you visit us on the Tiger's Nest, which is every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time, I'm talking about on Radio Anu, we will definitely give you more information. All right, listen, I have a little surprise for you. I'm going to give you a little more of that video that you were watching there a moment ago. A little more. I know those who don't like advertisements may have already been gone, but well, they lose out of that one. Not unless they have gone to purchase the full documentary. I'm talking about The Living Gods of Kemet. All 3 parts definitely available for you at a very wonderful and I would dare say attractive price. Blessed love until Rastafari.
During the season of Peret and Shemu, October and February. This is Rameses here in the middle. This is Ra Harokote, which is the same Ra. And this is Amun. And here you have Ptah. Now, interestingly, when the light comes in here, when it's Peret or Shem, the 20th, 21st, 22nd of February, the same thing with October. When the light comes in here, it does not touch Ptah. It will touch Amun and Rameses and kind of graze Raharakate. And then eventually, as the days go by, it engulfs the 3 of these gods. But it doesn't touch Ptah. So what's the Egyptologist's assessment of why it doesn't touch Ptah? Well, Ptah is the god of the underworld. So this is why he needs not to be seen. All right, interesting. I wouldn't argue with him being the god of the underworld at all. All right, fair enough. But what about Rameses now? Is he a god? Because he definitely has some strong accolades thus far. So is he a god? Because he has himself between 2 gods. He has himself between the god Amun, and he has himself between Ra, which is Ra and Horus and Ra Harakate and Sokar. Let me just tell the family they are all the same being in different principles or different formations. I'll show you that in a moment. But what I'm saying is that this is a king. Remember, Amun is not a king. Ra or Ra Herakote is not a king. You can't say, well, Ra Herakote ruled from this date to that date. No, he's a god. You have a god story. You know what I mean? He was born from the moisture of the air and them kind of talking there. So he different. The same thing with Amun, even Pata. These are gods. None of these people here are people. You check it. They're gods, they're principles. They don't even really exist as such. Right. Rameses is a person. That's Seti youth, man. We don't tell you when he was born and how old he lived too. Aman don't have no age. He'll tell you his age is, you know what I mean, times upon times and millions of times. See? So that's he on a different level. But what's his name? Rameses will live for 91 years. Good. So Rameses is a person. That's so he's different than these three. He's a person. These are gods. But he's seated amongst the gods. So obviously you're getting the impression that he is amongst the gods. Yes, right. But I'm saying that it's more than that. This hierophany is telling you exactly which God he is.